Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Roberts. Welcome to my kitchen. I have a new story for you today because it's applesauce time here at our house. So what we've been doing is cooking up applesauce from the apples out in our backyard. But the story I have for you today isn't about me cooking applesauce. It was about what I remember about my granny cooking applesauce. And all it is beautiful apples like these. So let's get started. Here's our story today. And again, it's written by Mrs. Roberts. Okay, here we go. Applesauce time. These are the beautiful apples that I took a picture of out in our yard. And this is cutting up the apples. All right, enjoy. Granny always loved applesauce. Every year in late summer, we would pick apples from Granny's 2 apple trees. She told us never to use apples that were already on the ground. Only the best, freshest apples would do. What kind of apples came from Granny's trees? I don't know, but they made the best applesauce. So here are Granny's trees and the beautiful apples that came from there. Granny had a large black bucket with a rope handle. She would fill it to the top with her apples. She said that was the perfect number of apples for her pan. Then she would settle into her Adirondack chair on the back porch with a pillow behind her back. She would tuck her skirt between her knees, lean forward with her bare feet on the porch, pick up her paring knife, and get started. Once I asked her, "Granny, why don't you wear shorts instead of a skirt?" And she said, "'Cause ladies always wear a skirt." Granny knew best. So here's the bucket. You can see she had a little rope handle so it was easy for her to bring over onto the porch. And here she is with her skirt on, tucked between her knees, getting ready to start the applesauce process. Well, she had quite the system. First, she would cut the tops and the bottoms off the apples and put the scraps in a bucket for the chickens. She insisted this made the apples cook faster and allowed the skins to slide right off after cooking. Then she would toss the apples into her cooking pan, cores and all. So here she is in her skirt. Here's the chicken bucket. This is the scraps. And this was the black bucket, and it filled just right when she put apples from here into here. And here she is with the tops and the bottoms cut off, putting them in her cooking pot, making sure they're just right. Once her cooking pan was full, she would start the cooking. A little water was poured over the top of the apples, and then we'd wait. Little by little, the apples would heat up and get softer and softer. Granny had a huge potato masher that she kept handy. She would start crushing and mushing the apples until they were fully cooked. And this is a potato masher. You might have one at home that looks a little different, but this is the one my granny had. And you can see she'd already been mushing the apples down as they cooked. She always had to taste test the cooked apples before my favorite part of her system began. Here she is, taste testing her apples. Next, Granny pulled out her gigantic cone-shaped apple strainer. This was my favorite part because I got to press the apples through the strainer using the potato masher. So as you can see, guys, this is a cone shape right here, and it's got all these little holes. And if you put the cooked applesauce in there and you push it and push it and mush it and mush it, it starts to go through into the pan here. It was my favorite part. All that would be left when we were done were the skins and seeds. But once we removed the strainer, what was left was pure, silky, smooth applesauce. Finally, she would freeze or can her delicious sauce. Once I asked Granny, "Why don't you use sugar or cinnamon in your applesauce?" And she replied, "My apples are so good, they don't need sugar." Granny knew best. But sometimes she would add a little sugar and a little cinnamon to a batch. She said those jars were for special occasions. So a special occasion actually might be like Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. So here it is. After you mush and push it and smush it and you get that smooth applesauce. And then you pour it into these hot jars and you can it. And this is actually canned applesauce, and it lasts for about a year sitting in the cupboard like that. Delicious. When all the work was done, we would sit back on the porch and listen to the sounds of summer. Or we would quietly talk together and watch the old hound dog lay in the shade. There's the dog, just listening to the sounds, maybe crickets, maybe the bullfrogs. I'll always remember applesauce time. And here we go. This is what an Adirondack chair would look like, guys. And there's her paring knife, her black bucket with the rope handle. Right here is the chicken bucket for scraps because you didn't want to waste anything. And that was her cooking pan right there. And here's Granny with her bare feet sitting on the back porch with her skirt tucked between her knees. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed applesauce time. It makes for good memories at my house every time we start canning here. So guys, enjoy the fall, and we'll be seeing you soon. Bye-bye.